Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Manny Reads Comics, where I recap slash review comics on my pull list. Today, I have a special guest, Vinyl Casket. How's it going?
Hey, hey guys, it's doing great. I'm Nick. If you want, you can check out my channel at Vinyl Casket on Instagram, Vinyl Casket Comics on Instagram, the Vinyl Casket on YouTube, and Vinyl Casket on Twitch and Twitter.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
He's also part of my group. 1 month later, that we meet up once every Saturday. We talk about different things, but yeah, he decided he read Batman 110. He liked it. He wanted to review it. He's got it right there, ready to go. This is a good issue, so I'm gonna go ahead and just jump into it and start off with how it begins. Batman is running. He's running away from Scarecrow. We see that as usual. I have I don't know about you, but I kept thinking that he's running like there's no reason for him to be running because Scarecrow is just has him tied down and stuff. And I kept thinking he's gonna escape or something like that because that's what he does. But it
Yeah.
finally it finally just kind of became clear that this is an introduction to Fear State. We're not gonna see him
The
escape.
last couple of issues have all started with him
Yeah,
being tortured or tied up by Scarecrow in like some different scenario.
yeah,
The last couple
exactly.
of issues. So I feel like it's been leading to that, and I didn't realize it either until I was like Fear State. I'm like, and then
It
in this
was
issue it makes
it
sense.
was that panel of Scarecrow, like a huge Scarecrow, just right there. When I realized, I was like, "Oh, this he's not actually gonna escape during this run, this series, this little arc that we have. He's gonna escape probably in Fear State, or it's gonna go straight into Fear State." And I kind of like that, but I don't know. I kind of sighed at the same time, like, "Oh, okay, he's not going anywhere." But we go into Saint talking to the mayor about the explosion at City Hall and how he wants to now use the peacekeepers, and he's using the explosion as a good what's the word I'm looking for here,
Uh,
leverage.
Leverage, scapegoat.
Yeah,
It's a reason he's using it as a reason to enact the magistrate, which
exactly.
he's rigged this entire thing.
Exactly. And the mayor has been constantly been like, no, I don't need it. We don't need that. We don't need that. And now we see that Scarecrow has been scaring everybody around. So it finally kind of hits. Meanwhile, Molly sees this explosion and she immediately puts together, she's like, oh, they're going to use us as a scapegoat. They're going to use the Unsanity Collective to say that we bombed it. And she's starting to get ready for that. And then we get like the news coverage, which continuously, I'm kind of tired of it, honestly. But it's just we've been getting in the last couple of issues with the news coverage saying the city is terrified, Scarecrow's going to do something. Ever since the Joker war happened, the city has been terrified.
An A Day, is that what they call it
Yeah, they
now?
call it A Day. Yeah.
A Day, which really, I guess, stirred up a lot of controversy in Gotham with the news because
Hmm.
now they're putting pressure on this new mayor. Who,
Yeah,
if you didn't read, what was it? It was that big detective issue, or
I
was it?
which I didn't. Yeah, I didn't read that.
Yeah, that was the end of Joker War, right? That big Detective 127,
Oh yeah, yeah, that was the last of the
10,
Joker arc. Yeah,
1027.
yeah, yeah.
There's a side story, right, where he gets captured by the Joker, and this whole big thing. He loses his eye, and he
You're talking about
campaigns for
Mahoney?
mayor. Yeah.
Yeah, Mahoney gets captured, and we also see that in Suicide Squad #1, just like a slight bit, like you don't actually see it, but they talk about it,
Oh yeah,
like
they go in
because they
there
go in there, they go into
to
Arkham
get they
and do
get
like that.
talent.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a pretty cool, like just kind of like showing you that this is all happening at the same time. I liked it.
It also overlaps into the Joker series.
Hmm. Oh, I'm
The
not reading that.
Joker's um because he killed at the end of Joker War, he killed Bane.
Yeah, right.
And because the Joker also killed some other crazy assassin families person that they think he had killed him because of the A Day, because everyone originally blamed it on the Joker.
Hmm.
Um, in the Joker series, he's in like some random, country hiding, in a resort, and uh, Detective Gordon
Hmm.
is hired to go kill him, and he gets there, and Bane's daughter shows up, and then these crazy people show up, and everyone nuts. So everything's been really tied into A Day. It's been referenced in multiple things. Multiple comics have referenced it. I think Nightwing's referenced it. Um, the Urban Legends series has referenced it a couple times.
Huh.
It's
Yeah,
been
so
pretty
it's a
relevant.
big thing that's happening for some reason. Gotham, the central place that's always getting attacked, is now scared. To me, it makes no sense. It's like they've been scared. Like if you're gonna live in Gotham, just know that this is gonna
It's
happen.
also funny that in the Catwoman series, that they're like, all these people are scared. And all the people in Alleytown are like, what are you talking about?
Nobody's scared. Yeah, so it's just
No,
media.
the police are like
Okay,
raiding them. They're like, leave us alone. We don't care.
that's okay. That's pretty cool. I like that because it is kind of like real life. It's just the media kind of just stirring up more stuff for the mayor,
I
honestly,
also
to go do
love how
something.
Gotham's divided into so many different sections
Yeah.
where like there's completely different cultures throughout. And the comics lately, especially when they went into Infinite Frontier and in the later half of the Batman series with Tinian and Joker War, have really done a really great job of defining Gotham.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wish I
So,
read more more of the Bat stories, but unfortunately, I only have Batman. I only have that in my pool, and I mean,
and
like Nightwing and stuff like that. But like Detective Comics, Joker, I don't have that. Catwoman,
you don't have Catwoman?
no, I have a couple of them, but like not.
It's pretty. I didn't before Joker War. I was only reading Batman and Detective, and then I got into everything.
That's how
And
DC
they
gets you.
canceled a bunch. They canceled Batgirl. They canceled Red Hood, uh, and they brought up Urban Legends,
But
which is now.
going back to the story, as all this is going on, like the Saints talking to the mayor, Molly's figuring out that everything is gonna go be pinned on them. Batman is still fighting Peacekeeper, and you can see that in the cover here. Uh, and the cover is pretty perfect on what's going on in the issue. It's a good fight.
It's a really good cover.
Yeah,
Like I
exactly.
normally get the card stocks, but this is a cover where I actually enjoyed this cover more
Yeah,
than the card stock, and that happens rarely lately.
yeah, it really does. It's been depending on it. Um, while this fight's going down, uh, Mayor Nakano, I don't know how to
Not,
pronounce that.
night, as there's a Y in there.
Right? There's
I don't know how
something.
to say it. I really don't because he came out of nowhere.
Well, either way, he begins to kind of like just break down, and he's just like, you know what? Let the peacekeepers do their thing. Let the magistrate in. And Montoya is trying to reason with him, like saying like there's no signs of any gas attacks. Scarecrow has not done anything, but he's just more worried about the public's opinion, right? He's just like, I need to do something before the public turns on me. I need to be reelected. That's what he cares about. And then we jump to Batgirl calling Nightwing, and I love that scene because he's just immediately into action. He goes, "All right, I'm on my way." And she's like, "Oh, wait, you don't need to." And he's like, "No, no, no, I know exactly how these things go down." And he's like he's on his way to Gotham, and that's pretty cool because that means he's gonna show up in like at least an issue or two, and who
I also
knows?
love the way Jimenez draws Nightwing.
Jimenez can draw Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl. Like he was made for the Bat family.
But like, if you look at that panel, because you get to see like the light blue, like where he, like the trajectory
Where he
of where he was
was,
coming from,
yeah,
like his movements, and it's so cool.
I love it.
Like
It's so dynamic.
you see him for one panel,
Yeah.
and it's like it's so cool. It's so good.
It's just in bold in my notes here. I have it in bold, like Nightwing to the rescue. Just like that was just such a great
But
panel.
another thing that both the Batman title and the Detective title have done in Infinite Frontier so far is utilize Barbara Gordon now as Oracle
Hmm.
over Batgirl perfectly well.
Yeah, I was wondering with
Um,
this issue, like, is she gonna go into her suit? Is she gonna jump in?
she's stepped in a couple times in the suit. There was an Urban Legends issue where I think she hops in the suit for like a couple seconds, then hops back out, and then sends um, Stephanie Brown,
Cassie,
who's orphan,
Cassie,
Cassie, sends them out because they're the Batgirls and
right?
she's
She's Oracle.
Oracle, but they treat her in both Detective and Batman and kind of Nightwing. Nightwing, she's way more physically there, hanging out with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
With
but
Tim,
she's treated the same in both books, which I think is a great thing to do.
yeah,
Because if she was like utilized one way different than the other, and even in the Red Hood stories in Urban Legends, she's utilized the same. They're like, "Hey, Oracle, I need help," and she little bubble with her face, and she goes and she does. Every book's utilized the same, and this just shows like the perfect way to use her
yeah.
in this Bat
Continuity
title.
wise, always feel like her and Ghostmaker, they're gonna fight at one point. Not like
They're gonna
physically,
argue.
not physically. Yeah,
Ghostwriter
exactly.
has the what does he have the
Icon.
icon, but what is it? It's a AI.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
So like he's doing that, but uh, we haven't gotten to the point. When we get to Ghostmaker and who he's hanging out with,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about it.
So meanwhile, Saint is he's running a report on Sean Mahoney's suit, Peacekeeper One, and he says that it's down to 86% after fighting with Batman for 18 minutes. Now I look at that and I'm like, that's kind of shitty. It's only 18 minutes, and this cybernetic like suit isn't keeping up with Batman, a human, right? I know he has his own enhancement in the suit or whatever, but it's at 86%. But saying like that's amazing. I didn't expect that with the first go around with Batman, but we need to finish it. Um, and then in that fight, Sean Mahoney does the classic, you are what's wrong with Gotham. You are the one that brought the crazies here. If it wasn't for you, we would be fine. And it's like, get over it. That's tired. But he does reveal that he's the one that planted the bomb at the city hall, which he's over here talking about peace and he's planting bombs. He does have a good point. He does have a good point with Harley. He says, you're over here hanging out with Harley, and you're talking about, yeah,
It says all this stuff.
all these villains. You want us to have faith in you, but you're hanging out with villains. So I mean, it's a good point. And Harley has a long way of redemption because she has done a lot of shit. So it makes sense. But on the other hand, she's doing her best.
Yeah, but people, the public Gotham doesn't know what she's done with Suicide Squad.
Exactly, and that's like something that Batman needs to kind of like put out there. I know that he worked in the shadows anyways. He doesn't give a shit about the public, but he does need to like at least show like a show of good faith for Harley. Like this is what she's done since, and he does tell Batman that he does plan to kill him, which is pretty bold. But I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna pin it on the Unsanity Collective. So that just goes to show how smart Molly is. Like she's like, oh man, they're gonna put all of this on us. So not only the bombing, but the killing of Batman. Um, it's at this point that Batman sets off a bunch of explosives, and Ghostmaker does not hesitate to show off here. He's like, oh, you didn't catch that? Nobody caught that? You didn't hear that? Oh, it's just me then. Okay, I caught this. And go ahead.
I gotta just say that in this whole first off, the fight scene was immaculate. It was a really good drawn, like a very well drawn fight scene. That was very like I enjoy watching the whole thing, like reading the whole thing. The way he plants the bombs was so well drawn. Like he just like the guy's egging him on. He just you like place him on. Doesn't even notice.
Yep.
Doesn't even know what's going on. Like that was like you see it done all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like when I was realizing what he was doing, and then when he did it, oh, it's awesome.
But even in like real time, the artist is just doing such a great job doing it in a flow where you know what's going on. You see what Batman's doing,
and it makes sense.
Exactly, and that compares to Justice League, I talked about how the art in Justice League is not flowing very well. I don't know if you're reading Justice League, but
No, I'm not. Wait, is this the main title?
yeah, the main title.
Yeah, I'm not reading Justice League, Last Ride, Infinity, or whatever it is.
Yeah. So in Justice League, basically, like there's a whole fight scene that's happening, and it's all in the same page. And even with that same page, I'm like, I don't know how this punch led to this scene here for this to lead here. It made no sense.
Blowing, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the artist like that decided this or if it's somebody else, because the artist is David Marquez, and I really like his art, but that just didn't flow. So seeing this, I was really happy about it.
It's Jimenez. Like, of course, it's gonna look good. This man he's the most like lovable person. Like if you see his little clips he puts on his story on Instagram, he's just like so happy to show people his art.
Yeah, no, and it's like you said, it's Jimenez. I like Marquez's art. Like his art is phenomenal, but that flow right there, I don't know if that's something else. Like I don't know if that was something else.
Editing.
Yeah, like not his call. But yeah, no. Ghostmaker catches that Morse code. He says, like, all right, I know the plan, and he puts himself into position. Batman, not even knowing that if Ghostmaker heard the explosion, if he's in position or anything, he just has full faith, and he goes through with the plan, and he just jumps out this building. He has no cape, he has no gadgets, he doesn't have a grapple hook because it was broken by Mahoney, and he just jumps out. And Batgirl or Oracle at the very last second, she's like, "Don't do it! What are you doing? What are you?" Yeah, exactly, and just jumps out. And then we see Ghostmaker jump out and do it as well. And it's just a great, again, Jimenez dynamic. You see Batman jumps out. Ghostmaker reaches out to catch him. Once he catches him, he grapple hooks into a building, and he just goes right on top of that building.
I think my favorite part of that scene of that what's the word of those events of the transcending of that event is that I don't know how Tinian thought of this for the plot of that, but Ghostmaker's like, oh, those bombs are being set off in Morse code.
Yeah, exactly. And he shows off about that. He's like, nobody else heard that. Nobody.
Because it's playing more and more in this story that Batman and Ghostmaker were trained by the same people.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that this whole time that Batman's been here, there's someone as talented as Batman, like skill-wise, training-wise, out there.
Yeah.
That's been doing it as long as him, that is on the same wavelength as him, which is incredible. Because obviously you have Nightwing and you have Tim Drake, and those guys can team up with Batman but you've never seen them do this.
Yeah, that's a whole different level.
An unspoken.
It's a whole different level, basically.
Whole different level. It's like a bromance, and I love it.
So that was obviously like a toll on Batman's body. The whole fight with Peacekeeper 1, Ghostmaker literally tackling him out of the sky. Honestly, again, to go back to that, it's kind of like a scene from Fast and Furious, honestly. It's just so ridiculous. It's like a Fast and Furious scene. But Batman starts to recover. He's got his bandages up. He's on a ship with Ghostmaker and Harley, and he's listening to the news about the Magistrate partnering up with the mayor. And it's at this point that Harley finds out what's going on, who's Peacekeeper, and she just kind of spits out her drink, and she reveals like Mahoney was a cruel bastard, very sadistic, hated all the inmates. Like this was before she was even an inmate. This was when she was doctor.
Was still a psychiatrist.
Yeah, exactly.
So that he had a rap sheet and he had write-ups and everything. Mm-hmm. But as we know, because of A-Day, all the files in Arkham are gone.
Yep. So nobody cares. Public doesn't know. And
there's no way to prove it.
All they see is this hero who sacrificed his legs or something on A-Day, right? He's a survivor.
His legs to pull people out.
And while she's talking about this, at the same time, we see Mahoney and Molly, Miracle Molly. She was at their last little lair or whatever. They were packing up, evacuating, and then Squeak, the little girl that she was like building something for, she comes around and she says like, "Hey, we got like, do you have my weapon ready?" And Molly's like, you need to evacuate, like with everybody else. I'll get your weapon done soon. But unfortunately, at that moment, Mahoney shows up with a whole bunch of other little soldiers, and Molly immediately hands up. We surrender. Not here for this. We're not gonna fight. There's too many innocent people around that don't fight, have no skills with weapons, have no skills with fighting. We surrender. And you just see Mahoney put his hand to like his ear to talk to Saint, and he says, "We're being met with armed resistance, and we request to use lethal force." And then you see Saint just approve it, and that's the end.
It's a great last page.
Yeah.
It's a art page, and it's split right down the middle. Half of it is Peacekeeper, and half of it is Saint.
Yeah.
And honestly, if that's not a take on what's going on in the last like year and a half with people's opinions of police and everything, and it's a take on it, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think it was done in a very creative and easily to digest way, where it wasn't shoved down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of knew that was the tone with the Magistrate since Future State.
Yes, yeah, that's like the narrative.
I just thought that was very tasteful the way they did it, because they could have easily done it in a way that was very forced and shoved down your throat. That would have felt like a little like cringy.
Yeah, no, that was good. Like a cliffhanger, just oh shit, basically an oh shit moment. Just something's gonna happen, and I do appreciate it, because I feel like Molly is gonna show why they call her Miracle Molly and not just Molly. She's gonna do something obviously to get out of that. As soon as she hears him say that, most likely she's gonna do something, and she's not the villain that we were led to believe that she is. She's obviously gonna end up working with Batman in Fear State. That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, that's how it ends. And for me, this issue was an 8 out of 10. It's action packed. Batman is being Batman. Mahoney and Simon are just garbage, and it's just action from start to finish. So 8 out of 10.
In my review, I gave it my pick of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the backup story, which I don't know if we're going to talk about, but even the backup story was, well, the artwork's a little cartoony. It fits Ghostmaker's like aesthetic, and it was really good too. Yeah. So it's always great when you get a good story, and then the bonus is good too.
Yeah.
Because it really feels like you got your money's worth.
Right. No, I was gonna talk about that as well right after. So you said it's your pick of the week. So does that mean 10 out of 10?
I rarely give 10 out of 10 because I'm waiting for that one book that really blows my mind. I'm pretty sure I gave it either 8.5 or a 9.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
That's my top book of the week. There was a lot of books I got.
It was a heavy load.
It topped Kevin Smith with Masters of the Universe, which was close.
God, no. But you mentioned the backstory, which I don't write notes for it because it's just a backstory. Yeah. And there's
a lot of backups because that's a trend that they started doing recently.
They have it
after Future State.
They have it in Justice League. They have it in Wonder Woman, Batman, and are they doing it? All of them, even Nightwing.
Not. I think does Nightwing have it? I don't know if Nightwing has it.
I don't think so.
Obviously, Detective, Batman, Urban Legends is just multiple stories. Yeah. I think Catwoman has it. Superman, Action Comics, they all have backup stories. And I think it's interesting. It's definitely a way to give you like characters that like you might not get a Ghostmaker book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but these stories are small, only a couple pages, and they're usually pretty good. The Superman Action Comics stuff with like Midnighter, I don't care. I don't read them. I know a lot of people don't read the Dark Justice League stuff.
So the Justice League does have that backstory with the Dark Justice League, and it's actually pretty good. With this one, it's just
what's his name? It's Ram V. What?
Ram V.
Rom V?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
He's pretty good.
So this one here is just Ghostmaker. Is just I always define it as kind of like the I almost had him from the animated series of Batman, where each villain just kind of tells a story about how they almost got Batman, and then it always ends with
this is chapter 4 of like of a story.
Yeah.
Where he's going up against this, like, what is it, the Devil Skull Island?
Yeah, and it's run by Madame Midas, and in this issue we see the backstory of Investigator, which what a horrible name, such a pun, because it's an actual, it's kind of like Killer Croc, but his name is Investigator, and I'm just like that's just bad. That's whatever. But he does tell a story of how he had to fight, or he forced Ghostmaker to fight with no weapons, no armor, no anything. And after hours and hours of fighting, he finally won him over, and that's that. And Madame Midas, and he's telling Madame Midas to forget everything that she wants to do with his suit, forget any of her ambitions, and if she wants to defeat Ghostmaker, she needs to just kill him where he is right now and just sacrifice the rest. And it doesn't seem like she's going to listen and do that, but in a twist of fate, whatever, she decides to do it. And even Ghostmaker at the last minute, he's like, oh shit, she wouldn't do this. And then it ends up that she did. So she blows up. He's underground, and she blows up pretty much everything around him. So how will he make it out? We don't know.
Yeah. I'm very excited. We talked about this before we got on. The artwork is definitely interesting for that.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice way to say.
It's written by Tinian. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that. No.
It's written. All these stories have been written by Tinian, but they're drawn by Ortiz. I'm not sure. I don't know. The name's not very familiar with art, but it's a Tinian story, which makes sense why it's like,
It's continuously getting better. Like the first one, I didn't really care. Second one, I was like, oh, this is a little interesting, and now I'm kind of interested in what's gonna happen.
He's like a different character they can do a lot with. I love the way they draw his AI.
Yeah, it reminds me of Pac-Man, honestly. But I like it.
Art style, and you know how they draw that the alligator guy, the crocodile guy.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of like a character, like a villain from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was gonna say Sonic.
What?
I was gonna say Sonic because they had that one alligator guy.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
It's just the proportions.
Yeah. He's just a big, bulky top, and
very, very tall, top heavy,
long snout.
And then in that fight where he's like just wearing the wrap and like his like boxers.
Yeah. Like
it looks like a Street Fighter character.
No, it was good. I did like it, and it does do a good job of showing who Ghostmaker is.
And it gives you like the art style does give you like Batman animated series kind of vibes, kind of.
Yeah.
It gives you that hint of, like, you feel nostalgic reading a story that has no significant value to you at all.
Yeah. But
all right, so do you have anything else you want to say about the story as a whole?
No, I got it. That was it. I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm hoping it wraps up well. It's been doing good from beginning to end. The only thing I don't like is the opening with Batman being like all restrained and not knowing how to get out, and the realization that the fact that this is coming to fear state. So that's the only thing I don't like, but I can deal with it.
I like that they said the word fear state.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that they finally said, like, we've known that's going to be the storyline, the crossover, the Batman crossover, but they finally said it in this book. I liked how the Peacekeeper has like a giant floating
headquarters.
What is it when the aliens they come in
a UFO?
It's a UFO, but what is it called? A saucer, a floating
flying saucer. Flying saucer. There you go.
It looks like.
Yeah.
Like, that was really cool. And I said this in my review. I enjoy Infinite Frontier prototype Peacekeeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Way more than he was portrayed Peacekeeper 01 in Future State.
Oh, okay.
Because he was like a main villain, but he didn't do much. He was completely covered. You didn't get to see him. He was very sleeked down, and you kept hearing about how he killed Batman, how he went after Batman, he defeated Batman, he went after Bruce Wayne in the middle of nowhere and went after him, right?
That makes
And
sense. Okay.
this Mahoney, this Peacekeeper 01 is brutal. He's got this hulking armor, his hair's all unruly, out of the place. He's wearing just like a his mouth is exposed, his ears exposed, his neck, his hair. He's just wearing over his eyes.
Right.
He's got like the electromagnetic gauntlets. There was that one scene at the climax of the fight where, which is the way they draw that fight was so good. Where he has he gets like this blade comes out of his his arm.
Uh-huh. I don't
Didn't
remember
see that coming at all.
I don't remember that. It must have been,
It's
I have a tendency of reading and not
when he
looking
goes,
at the art.
he raises his arm and he says, "Gotham was rough around the edges, but it worked until you and that the bat." I love when they cover up the curse words with the bat.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Turncoat cop hater Gordon, cop hater Gordon, because he's mad at Gordon because Gordon refused to allow him on the police force.
Yes.
Gordon kept
we found that out last issue.
I think they found that out towards the beginning, right after A-Day.
Oh, really?
But he did background on him because he was rejected because of he couldn't pass a psych evaluation, which makes sense why Harley would be like, "Yo, he's crazy. He's crazy.
What are they doing with this guy?" No.
Yeah, but he gets this like blue little thing out of his arm.
Okay, yeah.
And the rest of the fight, he's swinging at this man with like you don't get to see that stuff in Future State. This man, this prototype armor is ridiculous, and he's going. This is just a normal human being with no training at all. He's not a cop. He's not anything. He was literally a security guard in a psych ward. There's no training. There's very little training that I could assume this man has, and he's going at Batman and putting Batman through a ringer, bashing his head in the walls.
I feel like that just goes to show like the Peacekeeper suit, how efficient that is.
And it's the prototype.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even the full thing. And like you get it, I get like he has like these robotic legs now that are definitely increasing his speed and endurance and stability and everything. But he's putting Batman through it.
Yeah.
Like to the fact that Batman had to run away. Batman doesn't run away.
He didn't run away in this issue either. That was a strategic retreat.
And like you said, like when he and the Ghostmaker do this plan without even speaking, where they're like, when Barbara Gordon's like, "Are you okay? What's going on? Like, what are you guys doing?" He's like, "I gotta get in place." And Harley's like, "What is going on?" And this man just jumps out the plane and just, if I grab this, I'm gonna break my arm.
Yeah, dude, it's great. I loved it.
It's a really good issue. That like the last couple issues have been good, but they haven't been this good.
Like I said, this one's action packed. Yeah, exactly. This is like the climax. The next issue will probably be either the conclusion or the issue before the conclusion. I forget when does Fear State start,
because they tied everything in the mayor stuff, the Saint stuff, the Scarecrow stuff, Peacekeeper, the Unsanity Collective, Harley, Ghostmaker, Nightwing, and Oracle. Every part of the Batman title that has been introduced, his relationship with all these characters, the build-up of these characters and organizations and these plot points have been building since Batman title came back from Future State.
106, I believe.
I think it's that.
Yeah.
Everything since then was all tied in and featured in this issue. Everything that has been featured in like a full issue, half an issue, whatever, everything was mentioned here. Everything, even Nightwing's little panel, like the speech bubbles at Oracle, Harley, and that issue. I think it was last issue or 2 issues ago when Harley's riding the motorcycle
Yeah.
and she's trying to save people. And people are giving her a hard time, and Ghostmaker shows up.
Yeah, and she's over here like, I'm a good guy now. I'm a good guy. Like everything, and people are running away from her because she is Harley Quinn.
But the whole thing that Ghostmaker tried to kill her.
Did it in that issue?
No, in with Clown Hunter when he was trying to kill both of
Oh
them.
yeah, that's
Clown
right.
Hunter
That's
busts
right.
into
Yeah,
her apartment,
that's
and
right.
then Ghostmaker and Batman bust into the apartment. Then they end up in like some lair, and now all of them. Harley's like, "Wait, I was in my apartment. I'm a good guy now."
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Everything that's been all the character development over these past like couple issues have like probably 5 to 6 issues have perfectly fit into this issue.
Yep.
I was very satisfied reading this.
Yeah, the next issue is definitely going to be a pretty good
I can't wait
conclusion.
for Fear State because it's tying in to a bunch of titles, which probably sucks for you, but it's all titles I'm reading. So
No,
I love
so
that.
with Fear State, I do
crossover, and I'm already reading all the books.
Yeah, see, I will be getting the books that tie in, but that's it. So, all right, so
I'm already budgeting to buy that stuff. Like I'm already getting those books, so I'm like, oh, it's awesome. Like, cool, more bang for my buck.
So, do you have any final words you want to say about this book? Or anything in general?
Tinian really saved Batman from Mr. Tom King.
Oh man, yeah, he really did. But the thing is, he had a low bar to begin with, so anything seems like it helps.
Yeah, but this is low bar stuff. This is high. He could get away with giving us like a crappy story, and we think it was good compared to that. This is grading stuff. I don't know how our friend Matt's gonna react to it, but I think this is good Batman story.
Yeah,
I would think.
All right. Well, with that, I'll leave the watchers to decide if they want to get it or not, or if they agree or not. Let us know in the comments. Of course, follow Nick on Instagram at Vinyl Casket. Like he said, he'd listed them all at the beginning of this video.
Yeah. If you care about comics, as you probably do watching Manny, you can follow me at Vinylcasketcomics. I post my weekly pull list. I post mini tiny reviews of certain things. I post all the back issues that I collect, and I'm working on trying to figure out a proper way to post and display these bad boys.
Oh man,
so
yeah.
Eventually, there will be a bunch of omnibus. There's also manga I collect and I post up there. So if you're interested in seeing weird things that you might never see, I got 90s stuff, X-Men stuff, mid 2000s trade paperbacks, and then I always do my weekly pull list, and I always post stories about when I'm going live, whether I'm streaming video games on Twitch at Vinyl Casket, if we're on at 1 month later, or any other stuff. So yeah, and definitely check out the rest of the 1 month later gang.
Of course, and for me, make sure you subscribe if you made it this far. Appreciate it. Subscribe if you're not, and make sure you follow on any podcast platforms that you use. And that should be it. Thank you, Nick, for coming out, taking some time out of your day. This is a great issue, and it's a good review. So thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. See you later.